Let's get right into it. Number 5, the curse of Tippecanoe strikes presidents. You've probably never heard of this curse, but it's been killing American presidents for almost 2 centuries. In 1811, a Shawnee leader named Tenskwatawa cursed the Great White Fathers after his people were defeated at the Battle of Tippecanoe. He declared that every president elected in a year ending in 0 would die in office. What happened next is absolutely chilling. Starting in 1840, 7 presidents elected in 0 years died while serving. William Henry Harrison died in 1841, just 31 days after taking office. Abraham Lincoln, elected in 1860, was assassinated. James Garfield, elected in 1880, shot dead. William McKinley in 1900, assassinated. Warren Harding in 1920 died of a heart attack. Franklin R. Roosevelt in 1940 died of a stroke. John F. Kennedy in 1960 killed in Dallas. The statistical probability of this happening by pure chance is astronomically low. We're talking about a pattern that held for 120 years straight. 7 presidents, 7 deaths, all following the exact timeline of an ancient Native American curse. Ronald Reagan broke the pattern in 1981 when he survived an assassination attempt. Some say the curse was finally broken. Others believe Reagan's survival was just luck and the curse is still waiting. George W. Bush and Joe Biden both served full terms after being elected in 0 years, but the eerie coincidences surrounding this curse still make historians scratch their heads. If you're enjoying these spine-chilling stories, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started with curses that might actually be real. Number 4, the Hope Diamond destroys everyone who owns it. This isn't just any piece of jewelry. The Hope Diamond is a 45-carat blue stone with a body count that reads like a horror movie script. Legend says it was stolen from the eye of a Hindu statue in India, and the goddess cursed anyone who possessed it. The French merchant who supposedly stole it was later mauled to death by wild dogs. King Louis XIV and Marie Antoinette owned it right before they lost their heads during the French Revolution. Lord Francis Hope inherited the diamond and watched his entire fortune disappear. He sold it to pay his debts and died in poverty. American socialite Evelyn Walsh McLean bought the diamond in 1912, thinking the curse was nonsense. Her son died in a car crash, her daughter committed suicide, and her husband left her for another woman before ending up in an insane asylum. Even the mailman who delivered the Hope Diamond to the Smithsonian Museum in 1958 got hit by a truck shortly after. His wife died, his dog died, and his house caught fire. The museum has owned it for decades now without major incidents, but some say institutions are immune to personal curses. What's truly unsettling is how the tragic events always seem to cluster around ownership changes. Coincidence doesn't begin to explain the consistent pattern of destruction that follows this blue stone. Comment your location below because curses might affect different regions in mysterious ways. Number 3, King Tutankhamun's tomb kills archaeologists. When British archaeologist Howard Carter opened King Tut's tomb in 1923, he unleashed something that newspapers called the Pharaoh's Revenge. Within months, Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's financial backer, died from an infected mosquito bite. But that was just the beginning. Arthur Mace, the archaeologist who actually broke down the tomb's sealed doorway, died of arsenic poisoning. George J. Gould, an American financier who visited the tomb, developed a fever and died within months. Hugh Evelyn White, another team member, committed suicide and left a note saying the curse had driven him to madness. The media went crazy with these deaths, but scientists tried to explain them away. They said it was toxic fungi, bacterial infections, or just bad luck. But here's what they couldn't explain away. The British Medical Journal studied all 25 people who entered the tomb and found they lived to an average age of 70, which was normal for 1922. That should have debunked the curse, right? Wrong, because the people who died weren't just any team members. They were specifically the ones who had the most direct contact with the mummy and the burial chamber. Carter himself, who spent years working in the tomb, lived to be 64. Some say he was protected because he respected the pharaoh. Others believe the curse was selective, targeting only those who disturbed the most sacred artifacts. If this video is giving you chills, share it with someone who needs to know about these terrifying historical mysteries. Number 2, medieval book curses actually work. During the Middle Ages, monks didn't just write books, they weaponized them with curses designed to kill anyone who stole or damaged their manuscripts. These weren't just empty threats scribbled in margins. These were elaborate supernatural contracts written by people who genuinely believed in their power. One curse from a monastery in Barcelona reads, "Whoever steals this book, let him die the death. Let him be fried in the pan. Let the falling sickness rage within him. Let his limbs be broken, and wolves devour his remains." Another curse promised that thieves would be struck by lightning and consumed by fire from heaven. The monks carved these curses into stone tablets and sewed them into book bindings. They believed that putting curses in writing gave them permanent supernatural power. What's absolutely terrifying is how many of these curses seem to work. Medieval records show that book thieves often died in bizarre accidents or contracted mysterious illnesses shortly after stealing cursed manuscripts. Some were found dead in their homes with no explanation. Others went insane and confessed their crimes before dying. The Catholic Church took these curses so seriously that they developed special prayers and rituals to break them. Even today, some ancient books in European libraries still contain these original curse inscriptions. Librarians report that books with visible curses are rarely stolen, even by people who claim not to believe in supernatural forces. Number 1, the curse of the crying boy paintings burns down homes. In the 1980s, a mass-produced painting called The Crying Boy was hanging in thousands of British homes. The painting showed a sad child with tears streaming down his face, and it was cheap enough that anyone could afford it. Then the house fire started. Fire departments across England began reporting something absolutely bizarre. Homes were burning down, but the Crying Boy painting always survived completely untouched. Not just 1 or 2 cases, but dozens of them. The painting would be found sitting perfectly intact among the charred ruins of everything else. Firefighters started calling it the curse of the Crying Boy. The Sun newspaper investigated and found over 50 cases where homes had burned down with the painting, mysteriously surviving. They published photos of the painting sitting unburned in rooms where everything else was ash. The story spread like wildfire, and thousands of people panicked. They tried to destroy their paintings, but even that was impossible. People reported that the paintings wouldn't burn when they tried to set them on fire. Others said they threw them in the trash only to find them back on their walls the next morning. The panic got so intense that the Sun organized a mass burning event where they collected hundreds of these paintings and burned them in a giant bonfire. But even during the mass burning, several paintings refused to catch fire. Scientists tried to explain it away, saying the paintings were printed on fire-resistant materials. But that doesn't explain why only these specific paintings survived while everything around them burned. Art experts discovered that the original Crying Boy was painted by an Italian artist who used real children as models. Some of those children later died in house fires. Whether it's supernatural forces or just an incredible series of coincidences, the curse of the Crying Boy remains one of the most documented and terrifying examples of objects that seem to carry genuine supernatural power. These paintings are still out there, hanging in homes around the world, waiting for the next fire. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.